All right. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. It is that time of the week. We are starting just a bit early. So, you know the routine. We're going to get this out here, see if we can't get a few of you on here. Much to discuss. This week. Crazy week this week. Always crazy. Seems like lately it's always been crazy, though, right? Or is it just me? I don't know. So if you're out there in the old interweb lands, make sure you drop a hello. Let me know where you're at. I'm just going to share this out here, let people know we're on. I know a lot of you say that it's kind of hard to do this, catch the show on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Some of you have requested that I do it at different times. Just haven't figured out a good schedule to do that for myself time wise. So, really, the only time I got it. A lot of you watch this throughout the weekend and stuff like that. Certainly appreciate that. And when you do, please leave a comment. Help us get the word out, what we're doing. Podcasters out there, if you've got a podcast, you want to get more viewers, listeners, or be a part of just a solid community, come check us out. Send us an email. Send us an email at media@heroesmediagroup.com. Let us know what type of podcast you have, what you're looking for, and we'd be more than happy to help. So, that being said, what do we got here? Good morning, Heather Elizabeth. How are you this morning? Thank you for jumping on. So let's go ahead and get started. It's 9:01 Eastern Standard Time. The weather out here is starting to warm up. Heard birds this morning. So spring is right around the corner. Who's excited about that? I certainly am. Tired of the cold weather. Time for a change. So what has happened? You know what? Before we dive into it, got to give a shout out to our newer network sponsor From the Farm, sporting their hat today. Get it up there. Boom. There we go. From the Farm. Shake the hand that feeds you. If you haven't checked out their website, go check it out. FromTheFarm.com. Great stuff. You can order your meats and stuff. Find local ranchers and farmers in your area. Stop buying the crap that they sell at the stores. Ken, good morning to you, brother. Thank you for jumping on. Gene, what's up, brother? How you doing? Appreciate you. Also, those of you, small business owners and podcasters out there, if you are looking for a group to help grow your business or your podcast, check out the Maker's Machine. It is a mastermind group. It's held every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They meet up for like an hour. It's about 10, 12 people now. They're really growing this. And if you're interested in learning more about it, you could come sit in on a Thursday afternoon for free. Your first time is free, and then it's a paid subscription monthly. It's like $44 a month to be a part of the group. Great, a lot of great people in that networking community. So it's called the Maker's Machine. If you're interested, just say Maker's Machine or drop us a DM, and or you can email media@heroesmediagrp as well. So let's hear. I've been trying something new. I'm gonna throw myself under the bus here. But have you guys heard of this nootropic pouches? I used to chew a lot. I don't chew really anymore. But there's these, and this is I'm not being sponsored. This isn't a paid advertising. This is just something personally that I started trying out. It supports memory, focus, and calm. And I got to tell you, like I've gone through a can of these already, and they're pretty cool. But these nootropic pouches by Alpha is pretty cool. There's the camera. There we go. Anybody try these nootropic or any other nootropic pouches and whatnot? Let me know. Curious to see what your guys' thoughts are on them. I've had some positive results on it this week. It's definitely helped me in some situations. So Gene Hackman found dead with his wife in their Santa Fe home. Gene Hackman, actor, famous actor, 95 years old. Him and his wife, Betsy, and their dog found dead Wednesday afternoon in their Santa Fe home. And I guess what's been out now, and I don't know if there was any updates up until like an hour ago, but still going through investigations on this. And the first thing out, and a lot of the sheriff's department said there doesn't seem to be any foul play involved, which seems a little odd. I'm not starting anything. It's too early in the show to stir the pot, so I'm not doing that right now. But it just seems odd that the dog, wife, and him all found dead in the house. So it's like it just seems a little awkward. Can I like yeah, it's sad. I liked Gene Hackman. One of the best films, I think. The one that I remember, one of the ones that I remember the most is him and Will Smith in the 1989 film Enemy at the State. When it talks about how Homeland and some of these agencies can like take satellite imaging and follow your license plate and stuff like that, and everybody's like, oh, it's just a movie, they can't really do that. And then lo and behold, up until a couple several years ago now, it's true. And Gene, yes, he was a U.S. Marine. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, Gene Hackman was a United States Marine Corps veteran, an amazing actor and talent. 95 years old, found dead with his wife and dog in their Santa Fe home. Sad news this week, and I'll be curious to see what comes of it as they continue to investigate of this. So it's a sad day for that, because he had a lot of great films. He's an Oscar winner, I believe, as well. Ken, yes, The French Connection and The Bridge to the Favorite with him. Yeah, and that, I believe, The French Connection, I believe that's the one that he won the Oscar. It was Oscar, Grammy. I forget. I don't keep track of those awards, but he got some award for that film, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, sad week, Gene Hackman. There was another actor that passed this week too. I forget what her name was, younger, and I don't say that to be disrespectful or anything like that. But she was young. I think she was like 39, 30, 39, somewhere in 30. David, good morning to you, brother. How are you? Appreciate you jumping on. All right, so we got some people in here. Let's dive into some of the. Let's jump in the pool, folks. Let's jump in the pool. First one, and it's funny because like so many things have happened this week, and as I was putting some of these news titles together, I was just like, okay, stuff was supposed to happen this morning as of like an hour ago, and I have not got any updates on it. So if you guys see any updates on this one that I'm about to read, quickly put it in the comments. AG Bondi, Attorney General Bondi releases Epstein files, calls on Patel for full declassification. Now, this happened earlier in the week. Attorney General Pam Bondi has released a set of documents relating to Jeffrey Epstein in a letter dated February 27th, which was yesterday, I believe. It was yesterday. Bondi instructed FBI Director Kash Patel to deliver a complete set of Epstein-related files to her office by 8 a.m., which would have been just over an hour ago, on February 28th. That's today. This request includes all records, documents, audio and video recording, and materials related to Epstein and his associates. Bondi emphasized that there should be no withholdings or limitations to access these files. So I'm seeing I'm seeing a lot on like social media and the platform, and you see it in the news. Like there's been some of the news articles made it look like Bondi was jumping on cash, like, hey, your FBI is withholding documents and blah 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 blah. He just stepped in the role. So let's be clear on that. It's the previous minister, the previous leadership of the FBI was withholding stuff there. I think that's important to clarify that. I it makes outside of what you see in the regular news, it looks like the two of them are working very closely together to make sure these files and stuff come out. This revelation came after Bondi had previously received only 200 pages, which included flight logs, a list of Epstein's contacts, and the names and phone numbers of victims. Now, it's been said that they will not, by any means, and they shouldn't, in my opinion, post the names of the victims of the Epstein file. So that's good. So it's being done. Things are working forward on this. What do we have here? David Gordon, 2 Oscars, French Connection and Unforgiven. That's the other one, Unforgiven. David, thank you for David Willis, good morning to you, brother. How are you? Epstein files. What do you guys think on this? Let me start starting a little bit. What do you think they're going to find? Okay, if they find the names of list of people that were on the plane or gone to the island or whatnot, what exactly does that mean? Are all those people guilty then? Just by association with them? So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen next. It's going to be very interesting. And will there be, more importantly, are people going to be held accountable if found guilty of illegal activity? I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on the Epstein stuff? Go ahead and start leaving comments. We're going to continue on. How many of you like eggs? You guys eat eggs? Or you used to? Maybe some of you don't anymore because the prices of eggs across the country. It's not a laughing matter. I'm not laughing at that. It's just, my God, like eggs have gotten so insanely expensive. USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins unveils a plan to lower egg prices. I'm all ears. Secretary veiled her plan to lower egg prices in a piece published in the Wall Street Journal. Well, you've already lost me. I'm not liking where this is going. Announcing her comprehensive strategy to combat avian influenza. I can't talk. Bird flu, one of the flus. Rollins said the USDA will invest up to $1 billion to curb this crisis and make eggs affordable again by working with the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, to end wasteful spending. The fund will be invested in long-term solutions to the avian flu. So here's the thing. I'm glad. I think that to me, this really doesn't say anything. And maybe it's because maybe I don't understand everything they're going to do because it's very vague. So how are you really? You're gonna invest in long-term solutions to the flu. Great. What does that mean? What does that look like? Shots, more chemicals and crap that you're putting into either the birds or these big farms, or what exactly does that mean? It hasn't, and there's no. It doesn't show a timeline of when this is going to happen. My opinion is if you have land and you're allowed to have chickens, go to your local Tractor Supply store or what have you, start buying some birds and raise your own chickens. Period. That's I am currently in the process of doing that myself. And it's not something everybody could do. So if you can't do it, find somebody that and make friends with somebody that has chickens, become friends with them real quick. Pay them for it. This is going to be interesting. All right. That's it for the eggs. Honestly, that's it. Just can't really crack that shell right now. Sorry. Let's go back to let's hear. Glenn's got something here. Glenn, what do you say? Yeah, Glenn, I agree. The Epstein, David Gordon would make eggs affordable, quit killing off flocks of virus. Yeah. Let's put that one up there. Yeah. Stop killing the birds. That's great. I mean, that's you know, David, you make a solid point. Stop. What? And here's the thing, like, oh, they're killing off all these birds with the flu and stuff like that. I saw a number, and I wish I would have grabbed it, and I didn't. Somebody looked this up, but they had a number or a percentage of how many birds that were actually affected by it. It turned out to be like not many, but you know how our mainstream media is. It's like, oh, let's focus on that. Now there's a big problem, and so on and so forth. Like, let's cause a big issue here. What does that mean? I don't know. But it's this is a problem. Food. Period. If you guys notice, it's like I've talked about, ranchers and farmers, right? For beef, the big there is we are at war, people. We are at war with our food sovereignty, and we got to start taking, unless you want to like 3D print and eat 3D printed meat. I don't. I hunt, I fish, I try to be self-sufficient as much as possible. And that's just me. I grew up that way. I believe in that. And I think everybody should strive to kind of be like that, or be a part of a community. Like I'm a big proponent of community gardens here where I live currently. We try to put in a community garden. It got shut down, but for some people in the area didn't like it, because that's what happens when you live in an HOA. But for another story. Anyway, so eggs, yeah. Let's move on. Here's a fun one. Republicans introduced bill to defund liberal propaganda NPR. Project Diehard, I see you there. Thank you. Two Republicans have introduced a bill that would end taxpayer funding of National Public Radio, or NPR. Senator Jim Banks of Indiana declared taxpayers shouldn't be forced to fund NPR liberal propaganda. If NPR can't stay afloat without government funding, that tells you all you need to know about the quality of their news. Sorry. He's got a point. Should taxpayers pay for propaganda? Now, here's my only issue with how this is titled and what it's saying. Okay, this is where I'm probably going to strike a nerve here with some of the conservatives out there. Does this go against freedom of speech? Like NPR, like, very obviously they're liberal, they're very liberal, but they know their audience, so they're geared more towards the Democrat, liberal person, right? That's their target audience. So if that's the case, then are they wrong for doing that? Now here's where I have a problem. I don't think we should be spending taxpayer money on media, period. And you guys can come up with your own conclusion on why I feel that way. I don't get government funding for I own a media company. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing. If you can't stay afloat, then that's your problem, not the other person's problem, or not the taxpayer's problem. Quite frankly, I don't think we should pay taxes anyway, right? Anyway, NPR is known. NPR is funded, and this is coming from Representative Kat Cammack, Republican out of Florida, said that the taxpayer dollars have funded the left-wing activism under the journalism NPR for too long. Noted that NPR cherry-picked its coverage in favor of its majority Democrat listeners. 87%, according to to a Pew Research survey, from failing to cover an assassination attempt on Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh in 2018 to ignoring former President Joe Biden's business dealings with his son Hunter in 2020. Federal funds shouldn't be available to NPR. Again, this is one of those things. Like I get it. I don't think news outlets should be getting taxpayers' money. My opinion. You can disagree with me. I totally respect that. Isn't something that we need to get in a big argument about. But the fact that if NPR can't keep, if they can't keep their doors open through their sponsors and whatever platforms that they get to generate revenue, that's on them. That's not on the taxpayers. An exception for Voice of America. Yeah. So anyway, let's move on. NPR. But again, I say this again, the way that it's structured, it makes it sound like that other than, when they brought up the picking and choosing of what they were going to cover, well, it's NPR's right to pick and choose what they want, right? Because this goes back to the Reagan administration when back in the 80s, they said, okay, now we're going to let the journalists and the hosts put in their 2 cents and give their opinion, as opposed to prior to, what was it, 1981, 80, something like that, where the news did just that. It was focusing on the news. One thing that's nice about social media, in kind of the world that we live in today, is like we, as in we the people, all of you that are on Instagram right now, on Facebook, on YouTube, we got a couple of LinkedIn, like all of you that are watching this now, like we are the news. You are the news. You have these, you can be the news now. And that's what it should be, right? It's coming from the people, but there's so many things. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Arizona people. Where are my Arizona peeps? David, Ken, you guys down there in Arizona. This one's for you. This is directed towards my Arizona peeps. Arizona creates border task force. We'll let that one linger for a second. I didn't dive deep into this one, and I wish I would have, because Arizona is developing a task force to assist in combating cartels along the southern border. Governor Kate Hobbs signed an executive order on the matter to direct the Arizona Department of Energy and Military Affairs, the Arizona Department of Public Safety, and the Arizona Department of Homeland Security to expand border security activities. The task force, called Operation Desert Guardian, will partner with local law enforcement. Hobbs said that in a statement that she was, quote, proud to launch Operation Desert Guardian to combat the cartels, stop drug smuggling and human trafficking, and secure the Arizona border, end quote. Now, here's the thing with this. This is where it kind of like, what happened to JCNTF back in the day? Like, those of you that are out there, there was the Joint Counter Narcotics Task Force a long time ago. This was early, late 90s, early 2000s. Every state had a chapter or had a division of this. It was the Air Guard and Army Guard working together. And then it changed its name to Joint Counter Narco-Terrorism, I think it was. So that program must have, and I don't know, maybe that program had left, and now they're trying to bring it back in with this new Operation Desert Guardian. What do we have here? Yeah, I don't doubt that, David. I'm not going to repeat that, but yeah. So I'm kind of like, okay, so that tells me that there wasn't a JC, because back in the day, like there was programs that JCTF had that would sound similar to what this is. So I didn't know if this was just something new on top of what JCTF is, but maybe JCTF isn't there anymore. I don't know. It's been a while since I lived that life. So, but back to what Hobbs was saying, quote, my administration has been in contact with federal government and local sheriffs about the operation, its critical objectives, and our shared commitment to keeping criminals and drugs out of the Arizona communities, end quote. She said, quote, I have worked productively with the federal government on Task Force SAFE and have partnered with local law enforcement to deliver critical border security support. And I look forward to continued partnerships on our shared border security priorities. With Operation Desert Guardian, I'm confident we can take important next steps in our ongoing work to secure the border, end quote. Now, this being said, this sounds great. Will it happen? I don't know. The proof is in the pudding, right? Actions need to be taken place, but you can bet I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this. We got people. I got guys down in Arizona. This affects a lot of Arizona. We got an office down in Arizona, so this is something that we're going to definitely keep a sharp eye on and see if anything starts to fall through the cracks. So, let me see here. Oh, Ken, what is it? Andy Biggs has started a petition to have her removed. She's trying to look tough on the border. I'll have, yeah, yeah. I mean, if you know, I guess the governor's getting there's something out there now that she's going to get removed. That'll be interesting to see if that happens too. Krista, good morning. Thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one's going to rub some people the wrong way. This is we're stirring the pot more. I forgot the wooden spoon. I was going to bring a wooden spoon up here. Anyway, no tax dollars for terrorist acts seeks to halt U.S. funds to the Taliban. Bam, 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 bam. On February 25th of this year, Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee, Republican out of Tennessee, introduced the No Tax Dollars for Terrorists Act, a bill aimed to preventing American taxpayer funds from inadvertently benefiting terrorist organizations, particularly the Taliban in Afghanistan. Here's I had a question. This is a question for all you watching right now, and I'm going to sit quietly after I ask this because I want to see if anybody answers this. But why is the taxpayers' money going to terrorist organizations? Go. Why is our tax dollars going to terrorist organizations? Because that's what it sounds like, right? Something must have happened where they found that our taxpayers' money was going to support or benefit inadvertently terrorist organizations, because we had to create an act for it. Why are we doing it in the first place? The legislation comes in response to reports that the U.S. foreign aid continues to flow into Taliban-controlled territories, despite previous efforts to restrict such funding. So maybe the U.S. aid's going to areas where these Talibans are controlled, and they're intercepting the money. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe. Am I wrong? Probably. Yes, David keeps the politicians in power. Can USA flush fund? Yeah. Can't argue with either of you on that one. That's true. Let's move on. Yeah, Talibani. Yep. Got it. I got two more. This one's going to be a fun one. Education company sues Google over AI content. I don't know why I find this amusing, but education company Chegg, whatever, has filed a lawsuit against Google. I'm in a mood today. Can you guys tell? Has filed a lawsuit against Google, alleging that the search engine's AI summaries has hurt its online traffic. Now, this is according to a report coming out of Bloomberg. Google's AI overviews create unfair competition. Well, no. Discussing Chegg's end of year uh, financial results, Chegg's CEO Nathan Schutz said traffic is being blocked from uh, ever coming to their website because of Google's AIO and their use of Chegg's content to keep visitors on their own platform. Here's the thing: that's the problem with AI and these search engines and everything like that. I think now that I remember why I put this on there is like you don't know what you're getting. There's so many things out there. When you type in a search engine, whether it's Google, Bing, Yahoo, GoDuckGo, or a slew of any of the other search engines that are out there. Now, a lot of people are using like Chat GPT as a search engine. It's one of those things where it's like you don't know what you're gonna get pull up. Like you can go to GoDuckGo, look for something, and then look for that same thing on Google, and you might get different things that pop up on that first page. So you really don't know. That's why I say and then listen, guys, that's why I say every week, don't believe the stuff that I'm telling you. You got to look this stuff up yourselves. It's another media. That David. Yep. I agree there. Okay, last one for the news this week, and then we'll get into the shows. We had some great shows this week, and I want to give them some highlights. Make sure I spend some time on them. But the last one for the news topics this week: Children's Hospital in Los Angeles reverses decision and resumes transition treatments for minors. Resumes gender transition treatments for minors. Resumes gender transition treatments for minors. 3 weeks after pausing hormone therapy for minors, Children's Hospital Los Angeles has reversed its decision and will continue offering transition medical treatments for patients under the age of 19. This change comes after the hospital initially announced it would comply with President Donald Trump's executive order, which halted federal support for gender transitions for minors. The hospital acknowledged the ongoing legal and political challenges surrounding the issue, but decided to resume treatments despite these concerns. Here's a question for you guys. Is this a form of child abuse? I want to talk about this for a second. Is this a form of child abuse? And here's the thing: a lot of people are gonna be like, you know what? Well, it's their decision. Blah 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 blah. Listen, I'm in my late 40s, and I'm still having a hard time making decisions. Like when you're that age, from the age I would say, 18 to 25, you change your mind several times, right? I think like if you're an adult, like a full-blown adult, and you want to transition into something else or whatever, you know what? That's your right. Go for it. But I honestly think, and this is just my opinion, and I have not really gone into this in detail, but I think if you're going to do any type of transition, you should be like 25 or older or something like that. You should not be if it says teen at the end of it, that's a big hell no. And I don't care. Like 18, you're considered an adult. Great. Good on you. You got to wait till you're 20. Like, I don't think people really see how this is. And here's the other thing: parents that agree to have their young children transition, like, oh, they're trying to explore, do this, do that. Listen. I was a single parent for 15 years. Thank God my son won like he knew he was a boy. And I'm not, I say that because I'm not downplaying anybody that has a child that is unsure of their sexuality or whatever. I get it. But to do a big operation or to do a change like that, That should be a form of child abuse. David, absolutely. Yeah. This is, I mean, you, I I got a problem with it. It's sad to see that this stuff is happening because it affects people later on. What happens if a child goes through this transition change, right? And 5 years later, 10 years later, they decide, "Oh, I made a big mistake." And they're like, let's say the parents approve it and they're in their teens. And then they get into their late 20s or they turn 30 and they realize this was a big mistake. Or now they're experiencing health issues because of, whatever. I don't know. Maybe this is a topic that we just need to cover just by itself one time. But it's one of those things that it's yeah, it's criminal. Can I agree with you? Um, it shouldn't happen. And the fact that the hospital is going against an order. Now here's the thing. It's the hospital, it's in California. I think the states have a right to do whatever those states want to do, and the federal government should stay out of it. I get it. But if those states are getting federal funds, my first question is the hospital getting federal funding? If the hospital is getting federal funding, then hold every one of these people accountable on that side of it. And then if they're doing things to children under the age of what this article say, under the age of 19, then you need to look at, okay, now that turns into child abuse, and the doctors need to be held accountable. On top of that, the parents need to be held accountable as well. Let's not forget that. I think a lot of times you see these stories and they talk about the doctors and the staff, but you don't hear about the parents. I'd be curious to see, like, out of how many of these are kids that are in homes that have the parents. How many of them are single parent homes, and how many of these kids are going through like foster care or um, some type of other home. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, are these kids coming from solid home foundations, or are these kids coming from state funded, federally funded, like orphanage? That's what I was thinking of. Orphanages. Because you don't see that in here either. Maybe that's something we should look into. I don't know. David, yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's sickening. It is absolutely sickening. All right. That's it for the news articles. Real quick, let me get into this. Next week we're going to be live from Arizona, or we're going to be on the road in Arizona. I don't know where in Arizona, somewhere in Arizona. We're going to be in Arizona next week. That's all I'm going to tell you. You guys have heard it first. Ken, David, you guys know I'm coming down. I totally forgot what I was going to, like, I literally just had a stroke right there. I had no idea what I was going to say. Let's get into some of the shows. Great shows this week. A lot of shows this week. I'm excited about it, and so should you. First up in the queue, we got True Patriot Outfitters. Doc Talk Podcast. Gene, I don't know if you're still on, but if you are, give me a thumbs up. This week, U.S. Army veteran Mr. Ricky Williams, a speaker of pure truth. That I will most certainly say. I watched this episode this week, and this guy was great. Sometimes Uncle Rick, that's what I call him, gives advice that can cut pretty deep. He holds this veteran holds no punches at all. His views will spark thought and cause you to question what you think and what you know. It's a great episode. Check it out. They go live every Tuesday night on their Facebook page or on their social platforms. True Patriot Outfitters. It's their Doc Talk podcast. Go check it out. Cadets on the Gridiron. Why am I talking about Cadets on the Gridiron? It's not football season. Wrong. Spring ball has started up at West Point. We have been invited back up. So stand by. We will be up in West Point in April for their first spring game. And then we're going to start doing we got some episodes lined up with some interviews of new cadets that are moving into West Point playing ball up there. Excited about another year with them. So cadets on the gridiron, stand by for that. Next up, we got the strategic veteran. I am so proud of this guy, Adam Peters, the host of this show. He's doing a lot of great things in the veteran community. He dropped 2 episodes this week. One was veteran transition and military care insights to practical steps of establishing business credit. So if you're getting out and you start a business, how do you start building credit for your business? This is great. He goes through the step-by-steps on this. The other episode that he dropped this week, he had guest Jake Ray on the importance of veteran suicide prevention, the development of Theacore, which is an app for veterans, and practical ways to support mental healthness for veterans. Great episode. Go check it out. The Strategic Veteran. Next up, we got Homefront Sit Rep podcast. David Willis was in the comments here a little bit ago. This week, Homefront Willis sits down and talks with the TikTok veterans group. This was a really cool episode. There's a group of veterans on TikTok. They kick back and relax. Think of it, I don't want to say necessarily like barracks talk, but it's like kind of like that, and how they're helping people and veteran organizations and stuff like that. Great episode. Homefront Sit Rep podcast. They do a show on Sunday and Monday nights. Go check them out. Next up, we got JMac podcast, and I was not prepared. I will post this after the show, but he's doing a buddy check-a-thon right now, and I can't pull this up right now, but let me read this to you what I have here. Do Ask, Do Tell tour. They're doing a buddy check-in-a-thon. So it's let's combat veteran suicide together. So if you know somebody who's struggling and you want to remind them of what they're worth, they're having some people call and check on your buddy. They actually call and will talk to your buddy and do buddy videos or whatnot. And it's kind of a cool concept, but he's getting a bunch of people and they're going to call a bunch of veterans to check up on them and stuff like that. Pretty neat concept. I like it. I will post what that's doing. That's happening end of March, like March 24th. So we're a little early on that. So I will make sure you guys get that content out so you can be a part of that if you'd like. Next up, Senior Living Guide. I'm recapping last week's show because the AARP, some of us need to pay attention to this one. AARP's initiatives that they have with grants and stuff like that. They have the 2025 grant opportunities, including flagship grants of up to $25,000 for public space and transportation improvements and more. They also have a bunch of micro grants for disaster preparedness and so on. Go check it out, seniorlivingguide.com. You get more. Next up, Patriots Inside the Wire. Tuesday nights from 4 to 6. This week, Tracy, Gold Star Mother, had Bad Boy Leroy on. He's a Texas-born singer-songwriter, blending the best of red dirt country, electrifying rock, and soul-stirring blues. Known for his powerhouse performances and signature guitar skills, Leroy's music will have you rocking and rolling all night long. Most certainly did. It was a good show. But that's not all. Grammy-nominated Clint Sounds is the house. He's in the house. He did a bunch of mixing and producing for the songs this week. Yeah, great episode. Check it out. It's called Patriots Inside the Wire. Next up, we got Bump in the Road. In a world where digital landscape is ever evolving. I feel like I probably should have read that in like a movie voice, right? In the world where digital landscape is ever evolving. The threat of cybercrime looms larger than ever, right? Absolutely. I think we all can agree with that. Cyber is yeah. Anyway, guest this week, Jacqueline King, a tech-savvy professional thriving in the Silicon Valley. This cyber threat became very, very real for her. She comes in, talks about her full story about the CLEAR method and discover how you can protect yourself online. Whether you're interested in cybersecurity or personal growth, her journey offers valuable insights and inspiration for all of us. If you're online like we are here, this is like cyber is one of the things we've had to invest a lot of money in for all the businesses that I have. We get hacked on a daily basis, through emails, and there are always companies overseas, China, Bangladesh. It's always those countries that come into hacking. So cybersecurity is a big thing, and most of us that like normal people that just go on the computer, check your email, and maybe scroll through some stuff. That's stuff that we need to take seriously as well. So if you haven't looked at your cybersecurity for your home and your personal use, make sure you do that. Start researching some of that stuff this weekend. Give you something to do. There's your homework assignment for the weekend. Next up, we got the Arms Room Show every Monday, 2 p.m. Arizona Mountain Standard Time. They do a new episode this week. They're discussing the concepts of managing unknown contacts. Managing unknown contacts, or MUC. What does that mean? Well, you got to listen to the show to find out. The Arms Room Show. You can find them on their Facebook page, or go to heroesmediagroup.com and listen to the episode. Next up, we got the Misfit Nation podcast. Big week this week for this show. They knocked out several episodes. One I'm going to talk about right now, host Rich LaMonica welcomes Tim Thomas, an Australian Special Forces veteran and mental health advocate. Tim has channeled his elite military experience into creating some of Australia's most impactful veteran mental health recovery programs, helping others rebuild resilience and reclaim wellness. Some of the takeaways from this episode are actionable life hacks to conquer fear and stress, powerful breath work, tips of achieving optimal rest and improving sleep quality. That, and there's a slew of other things that you get from this episode. Awesome episode. Go check it out. It's called the Misfit Nation podcast. Got a few more. Stay with me, folks. Next up, we got Label Free Podcast. Host Deanna Redalescu welcomes back resident expert Ron Beckfield to discuss often misunderstood topics of sugar. Sugar. How many of you have a sweet tooth? Pay attention. As a new year begins, many people reflect on their dietary choices, especially after indulging in holiday sweets. I'm still on the holidays, apparently. Ron shares his personal approach to sugar, emphasizing the importance of choosing whole foods over fruit juices and being cautious with artificial sweeteners. It's good. Learned a lot from this one. Pay attention to it. It's called Label Free Podcast. Check it out. Next up, we got your 6 at 6 with the People's Patriot Project. Last Sunday, every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is what it's all about. Last week, this past Sunday, they met Charlie Brown and her, and to hear about her experience with the American Red Cross. She's an Army veteran, Lieutenant Colonel type, and she shared so much that we can't thank her enough for all of her work and caring. Music. They did a lot of music this last Sunday night from a friend of ours, Jen Ford, from her album Gold Dust Woman. Love it. Dave Bray USA was on. Great true American patriot, Dave Bray USA. And there was a slew of other artists that were on. You can go check it out. That was last Sunday. This Sunday, we will be hanging out with Joe from K9 Heroes for Heroes. If you're not familiar with that organization, make sure you tune in tonight or Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. They're also going to have musician and veteran Andrew Wooten joining to share what's new in his world. So that is the People's Patriot Project. They do several shows. They got the We Got Your 6 at 6. They do a weekly debrief, and they got We P3 Radio as well. You can find all of their stuff, People's Patriot Project Facebook page. Check it out. Next up, the Decision Hour with yours truly. I had a great conversation with this Air Force veteran, and the title of this one was called The Gutter Gospel. It's a veteran story of overcoming homelessness. I spoke with Air Force veteran Michael Smith. He's up there in Fargo, North Dakota, Oh yeah, he's also an author. He shares his profound journey through mental health challenges, homelessness, and then eventually recovery. He opens up about his experiences with bipolar disorder, and detailing the extreme highs and lows that led him to 2 suicide attempts. He recounts a pivotal moment when a quiet voice stopped him, reminding him of his purpose in life. This guy has been through the ringer several times, and he wrote a book called The Gutter Gospel: The Road to Redemption. And this is a project that has taken him 30 years in the making. This was a really cool episode. I was honored to do it. It's called The Decision Hour. You can go check it out, decisionhour.com, to listen to the episode. All right, next up, we got The Other Side of the Firewall. Why is cyber burnout at an all-time high? And we've just been kind of talking about cyber for like the last year and a half, 2 years, right? This episode of The Other Side of the Firewall takes a look at the emotional and mental health challenges faced by cybersecurity professionals, particularly in light of increasing workloads and stress. The discussion highlights the reports that reveals significant mental health declines among security professionals, the pressures faced by CISOs, and the importance of crisis management within the organizations. These guys that do this show, the hosts of this show, they are cyber professionals. These guys know exactly what they're talking about. I love this show, and I'm not an IT person at all. You learn a lot from it, and a lot of this stuff makes sense. Some of it a little scary, but this is a very educational type show, and something that I encourage everybody to take a look at and listen to. It's called The Other Side of the Firewall. They do a show every day, Monday through Friday. They put out an episode, very consumable, about 20, 25 minutes long. Check it out. Next up, we got Pushing Back Chaos. Let's bring on the chaos, boys. This week, we all like to think of ourselves as honest, right? But integrity is key. Any military person, Army guys, that's one of our Army values, right? Integrity. But integrity goes a long way beyond just telling the truth. It's about doing what you say you will, especially when no one's watching, right? And let's be real. How many times have you promised yourself you'd wake up early, hit the gym, or finally start that big project only to bail on it? It's integrity, right? It is. It is. It really is. In this episode, they dive into why integrity is the foundation of personal growth. You consistently keep your word to yourself. You build self-trust, confidence, and momentum. But when you break those little promises, hitting snooze, skipping workouts, making excuses, you quickly erode your own belief in yourself. Wow. And that, more than anything, keeps people stuck, right? In this episode, what they unpack is how self-trust fuels success in every area of life, practical steps to strengthening your integrity muscle, integrity and personal growth, and self-discipline and success. This is a great episode. These guys, they're professionals. They're veterans. One's an Australian veteran. One is a U.S. veteran. In the both special operations community. These guys know what they're talking about. And this is a really cool show. I love this show because you get different walks of life from different parts of the world putting a show together for you. So it's called Pushing Back Chaos. If you've never checked it out, this is the perfect time to do so. Go check it out, Pushing Back Chaos. Next up, we got Chasing Happiness. And Ryan, if you see this, happy belated birthday. I'm an a-hole. I'm calling. There you have it, right? Ryan, who is the host of Chasing Happiness, diving deep into his transformative journey of conquering past struggles and reigniting a passion with purpose. He celebrated his 51st birthday last week, and he talks about his life journey. Some of the key takeaways from the episodes: clear your mind and prioritize the present. by breaking down past struggles, and then also the importance of taking actionable steps, no matter how small, to make progress. Great episode, Chasing Happiness. Ryan, happy belated birthday again. Appreciate you, man. Last but certainly not least, we got Rise Up, Voices from the front line. Krista was on here a little bit ago in the comments. I saw her. This week, we explore a critical topic of mental health in law enforcement. She speaks with Brad Steve, a 27-year veteran and advocate for first responders. Brad shares his journey from the adrenaline-fueled early days of his career to confronting the harsh realities of trauma and the stigma. Discover how his experiences in 2 shootings led him to seek help and become a voice of change, or for change, excuse me. Looking ahead, he also envisions a future where mental health support is seamlessly integrated into law enforcement culture, free from stigma and fear. Very important there, I think. Voices from the front line. Great episode. And I think a lot of times we don't talk enough about our community heroes like law enforcement here. This is a great show that really sees into that field. So go check it out. Voices from the front line. Rich, good morning, brother. How are you? Good morning from the field. Well, be safe out there, man. We're talking about a great episode this week, brother. And I did get your email. So if you're watching this, I got your email. It's in the works. I'll keep you posted on that. Shout out to our network sponsors. If you have not checked out our network sponsors, do me a favor, do so. From the Farm, go check them out. FromTheFarm.com. They sent me some really cool stuff. They got to check. I got the stickers. Boom. From the Farm. I love this stuff. AJ Richards, he's the founder of it. Good friend of mine from my Arizona days. From the Farm. Get involved with your food stuff, guys. I'm telling you, you'll be happy. You'll thank me that you went and checked out their website. I promise you that. My Tax Fella. How many of you have not done your taxes yet? I haven't. Because I don't. I have these guys do it. My Tax Fella. Go to mytaxfella.com. Have the professionals handle your stuff. I'm not a numbers guy. I know that's a shock to some of you, but I'm not. I don't have time for that crap. I let them do it. I let the professionals handle it, and they have a great team over there. I've been working with them now for 9 years. MyTaxFella.com. Tell them the HMG sent you. They'll take care of you. All right, check it out. Forget Genetics. I had Barry's thing up. Forget Genetics. If you are an outdoorsman, if you're a deer hunter, or you like having deer, turkey, animals in your woods or in your front yard or in your backyard, go check out Forget Genetics. It's a veteran-owned company. They have a mineral that is absolutely amazing. It's the best on the market. They're in stores all over the country. They go to shows all over the place and they sell out. This stuff is amazing. ForgetGenetics.com. Go check it out. Jim Neary's Live Bait and Tackle and Warriors on the Water LTD. Love their organization. Appreciate these guys. Both organizations great. They got some fishing tournaments coming up starting in April all the way through October. HMG will be live at hopefully we'll be live at a few of them this year. So stay tuned for that. Fin Tactical, go check these guys out. FinTactical.com. Super shout out to these guys because they are the ones responsible for making HMG website look absolutely amazing. They're getting ready to redo our beverage company, our sister company, HMG Beverage. That'll be up and running here by May. So thank you, Fintactical. Freedom People. How many of you have a trust? If you do not have a trust, go check out the Freedom People. freedompeople.org. Go check them out. Great organization. Thank you, guys. VA Claim Builder. All you veterans out there, if you have not done your VA stuff or you're having problems with it or you're in the middle of it and you're pissed off because somebody's telling you got to spend thousands of dollars on an attorney to help you with this claim, blah, blah, blah. I'm guilty of it. I had to do that. Go to claimbuilder.com or VA Claim Builder, VAClaimbuilder.com. Go check them out. It's a free app that you can use and it'll help get your stuff involved. This was designed by a Special Forces Army Ranger veteran. He built this Him and his son built this, and they're helping veterans all over the country right now. It's absolutely amazing. JB Auto Clothiers. I'm not rocking my jacket. JB Auto Clothiers, veteran-owned business. Thank you. And then HMG Beverage, like I said, go to hmgbeverage.com. You get coffee, or hmgcoffee.com. We're going to be closed now for like the next 2 weeks because I'm going to be out of town. So anyway, go check out our sponsors. Please go give them a shout, follow, and what do we have here? Dodge.gov, great website to track Elon's progress. Yep. There. Thank you, Pop. Appreciate it. All right, guys, listen. This week, remember, use your head. A lot of stuff. Pay attention. The stories that I talked about at the beginning of the show, pay attention to see what happens. I'm certainly curious to see what's going to happen with the Epstein's file. I'm sure we're going to find more about that today. Stay tuned for that. Everybody comes out and this and that, and this is what's happening. Wait 72 hours before you come to a conclusion. That's my challenge to you guys this week. Be kind. One of the other things that's kind of bothered me, to be honest with you, is these cuts to the federal jobs. That part doesn't necessarily bother me, but the people that are losing their jobs, not something that we should make fun of. Those people have families and whatnot. It's not their fault that their jobs are getting cut. Those people are going to be coming after your jobs here. That's how you really should look at it. I'm not, you guys know my personal opinion. There's too many federal employees let's get the federal government out of what we're doing. Let's create jobs in areas that we need, like farming, like, your local areas that are non-government related. There are jobs out there. Let's help these people get back on their feet and get jobs, etc. Be kind. Say something. I challenge everybody to say something nice to your neighbor, or say something nice to a stranger this weekend. There's your challenge for the weekend. I got to run. We got to do. God bless you. God bless America. I love you all. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.